This award is humbling. I got to tell you, everybody that's here has made our industry what it is. And without your hard work and your dedication to the Fluid Power Society industry, we wouldn't be where we are. And oftentimes, I know from experience, when you're working, you don't get the appreciation that you deserve. So hopefully this will be a small token of our appreciation, and hopefully the industry at large. I just want to thank you in advance, everybody who came here tonight to be with us. And it's just such a pleasure and an honor to have you here. I just like to clap hands for everybody. So leading into that, I'll read this little clip just so you understand what this is all about. The Fluid Power Hall of Fame was established to recognize the lifelong contributions of individuals whose innovative ideas, entrepreneurial spirit, and hard work have significantly contributed to the continuing success of the fluid power industry. That's what this is all about. Without you, we wouldn't be where we are. So we want to honor, acknowledge you folks tonight, and hopefully this small token of appreciation will mean something to you. And thank you very much. Before we begin, however, I want to thank the committee, all their hard work in the nomination process, without whom we wouldn't have this award. Liz Rafus, who unfortunately is not here tonight, but I can tell you, without her, our spelling would not be correct. We might miss something in the bylaws. She would definitely tell us all about that. She is the vice chair of this committee and just the backbone, honestly, of the Fluid Power Society. She's just a fantastic person, and we miss her. Hopefully we'll see her in Charleston. But John Babayev also, as I mentioned, he has resigned/retired. He could not be here, but he also was a big part in this committee. John Grote, Tom Wanke. Unfortunately, travel restrictions, as you know, have been difficult for most of us. For those of you who are willing to venture out against the government, thank you. So we do have here Garrett Hoisington. Please stand. Put the cake away. Ernie Parker also could not be here. But these folks, they made this happen. They were really dedicated to this award. So thank you very much for all their help. I forgot to mention that Adele Kaiser, who you already met, was also instrumental in keeping us in line, keeping us on task, and making sure we got the deadlines met. And without Adele's help, same thing. It's a team. There's no I in team. There is two in idiot. Hence, I'm up here. Thank you, Donna. That's the only laugh I'll get tonight, probably. So we had to postpone the 2020 awards because of COVID, or in spite of it. But we wanted to make sure that those inductees were honored and appreciated tonight. My helper, Donna, so she's going to help me with these awards. By the way, in your programs on the table, you'll find full biographies of all of these inductees. I suggest you take those home as souvenirs. In fact, I recommend you have these folks sign, because I think in 5 years, that'll be worth a lot of money. There's no doubt. So we'll start with the class of 2020. This guy is, I don't know, beyond words, very involved in our organization also. So I'd like to introduce George Beniak. Well, there's an I in there too. So if you'd join me at the podium, George. George is a Korean War veteran, by the way, and he's most proud of his role as a co-founder and overseer of the Minneapolis-St. Paul IFPS Chapter 5's Past President Scholarship Fund, which is huge, I understand. This year, full scholarship has been given, this 1 year full scholarship has been given annually for 20 years, if you could imagine. And the count thus far for cumulative awards totaling almost $100,000, if you can imagine. So fantastic work, George. Thank you very much. We're honored and pleased to have you join us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Would you like to say a few words for us, George? Just a few. We have some sergeant at arms here.
Okay, just,
I can hold on.
okay. Quick little thing, a story about this award. Dell asked me, since they sent it to my house last year, in order that I receive it here, would I bring it with me? So I packed it in bubble wrap, make sure it wouldn't get damaged. Well, I get through security at the airport on Monday, and I go to get my bag. Where's my bag? Oh, no, it's over here. What's wrong with it? Well, you must have something in there. No metal, no. So the security guy digs through there, and he finally comes to this thing. He said, "What the hell is this?" Anyway, I want to make a couple introductions. I brought in my own cheering section here. My wife, Bernie. We just celebrated our 65th wedding anniversary in August. My daughter, Melissa, she has two sons who went through the Hennepin Tech hydraulic program and doing well in spite of all the COVID and everything else. My son, Brian, showed up. All right, I've been a member of this organization for, the record doesn't give me credit because I joined in 1962. So we've been in existence, the Fluid Power Society, since 1960. So I've been a member of Fluid Power Society for 58 years. I joined because I was a student. I did go to hydraulic school. A lot of people don't think I did, but I did. I went one night a week for 6 weeks at the St. Paul Ramsey Annex, which was the start of the very successful schools in Minnesota for teaching fluid power. I joined the Fluid Power Society for $5. And so, yeah, it was a bargain at that time. I thought it was exorbitant, but anyway, yeah. Anyway, yeah, and I think my record shows that. But anyway, I joined the Charlene Company back in 1961. So the founder of Charlene, Lynn Charleston, and worked very closely with him, and on the early development of the Charlene motor, the Orbitrol, some of the things that are still in existence today and doing very well, even though it's now under Danfoss, but wish them well. So I think with that, let's see what else. So I want to thank the people, whoever nominated me. Some of them I know, I think I know, and some I don't. But anyway, I appreciate the honor of being nominated and being able to accept this award. So thank you very much.
George, it's an honor. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Very well deserved.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, George. That's a legend there that just walked down the steps. Alan Hitchcock. Would you please join me at the stadium? After 33 years as author and editor of Hydraulics and Pneumatics magazine, Alan notes the most indelible aspect of my career is all of the great people that I've met and with whom I've worked. Alan? Okay. Hold on, folks. We think we have one for him. Okay, step off the stage. Alan, this is an honor and a pleasure. Thank you very much. And we'd like to have you say a few words if you would like.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. First of all, I want to thank, and I do thank the Fluid Power Society for this opportunity and for the nomination, for everything, and then for this, for having me come to this wonderful reception. If I may, something happened today. I have a little kind of a joke.
Okay.
It kind of reminded me of what happened tonight. What is it that a man does standing up, a woman does sitting down, and a dog does on 3 legs?
Oh, my God.
You don't have to answer that
Okay, thank you.
because it's, of course, it's a shaking hands.
Oh.
So if you were thinking something else, you probably should, kind of think about where your thoughts are. Okay. Anyway, but when I started with hydraulics and pneumatics in 1987, there were 2 things I was told I should do. The first one was go to Milwaukee School of Engineering and get a thorough education on fluid power, which I did. And Jack Slater and then Medhat Khalil, those 2 from who are also members, they're part of that. And that really helped me get me started, because in order to write about fluid power, you have to understand it, which is not always the case these days. And the second thing they told me to do was join the Fluid Power Society, and I learned a lot there about, what really goes on. Not, when you hear the classroom, it's in theory what's supposed to happen and how it's supposed to go. But when you talk to the people who are out there in the trenches, you find out how things really happen. And I was really delighted tonight when that first year, one of the first people I met was Mike Blake, who's sitting in the back of the room. He was with the Cleveland chapter. Mike, stand up. Mike Blake was one of the first people that I met. And that was way back in 87. And what's kind of funny is they say not to volunteer for stuff. They right away got me to become a program chairman. And so then I was in charge of bringing in speakers and things. That's how I got involved in Fluid Power Society and became a regional director. And then, then when things changed, the business took me a different way, and I wasn't involved, but I was still always had an eye on Fluid Power Society. But as Rocky mentioned, by far my favorite thing in being involved in all these years of fluid power is the wonderful people I've met. So many good people. They're always eager to help you out with things, and they're knowledgeable. And without them, I wouldn't have been able to succeed. And that's about really all I wanted to say. That I'm so grateful for everything that's gone on. Okay, thank you.
Alan, thank you very much. That was fantastic. I'm sure these guys would like to talk to you after hours. A few more drinks.
Great, awesome.
So we have the right time.
Peter Notchwick,
We
yes.
have the award
Yeah, we do.
this time.
We do, yeah. We're good.
We're prepared with the award this time. Peter Noxway, would you please step up to the podium? Peter is president of Delta Computer Systems, nationally recognized as a leading proponent and expert on advanced control algorithms, yeah, there you go, as well as simulation programs to enable less cumbersome methods for testing and developing machinery. It's an honor, Peter. Congratulations. And if you'd like to say a few words, we'd be honored.
Well, originally, all I was trying to do was sell motion controllers. And I found out that it took an awful lot more. So to that end, no one would ever know who I am or what we do if it weren't for marketing. So I would like to credit a couple people. One of them is fellow inductee Alan Hitchcock and Bob Patterson. He was our marketing, one of our marketing people, and Bill Savla and Aaron Heinrich. So without those guys, I would not have got my articles into hydraulic magazines or even mechanical magazines for that matter. Number 3 item is that I don't think hydraulics gets enough respect. To do it right, it really takes a lot of knowledge. And to that end, number 4 is that we need more education in these topics. So if I want to add a 5th, I would say, thank you, and it's an honor.
Fantastic. Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much. Another legend, folks. So sadly, Jack Slater.
Miguel's gonna give me something, so I'm gonna read it. Thank you.
I think
Miguel.
we have it here, actually, don't we? Jack Slater and Bud Haver were unable to be here tonight. But great news, Donna, the birthday girl, will give us some information about them. Thank you, Donna.
Yeah, I got to lower the microphone. But both gentlemen were so very honored to receive this award, and they sent notes. And I think if you see on the screen here, this is Jack Slater, and he sent us a note and said, "I was surprised and pleased to be nominated by an MSOE student who's now retired, and then selected by the Fluid Power Hall of Fame Committee. My office wall holds certificates for many other awards, but the Hall of Fame means the most to me." So Jack sends his best wishes, and I think we should give Jack a round of applause. Jack was a World War II veteran, and absolutely a well-deserved award. And we've mailed Jack his award, and it's now sitting on his mantle. So the next recipient is Bud Haver. Bud also couldn't be here tonight, but he was so honored to be nominated, and says that he wanted to thank the selection committee for the induction into the Fluid Power Hall of Fame and to congratulate the other inductees. He says that I've been in the fluid power industry since 1978 and fortunate enough to complete many fluid power classes at the Henry Ford and Macomb community colleges in Michigan. And he can attest that his fluid power certification, amen, propelled his career and gave him the expertise to be successful in the field, allowing him to help many others every day with his knowledge. He says that I now have the opportunity, as I hire and train new employees, to give back to the industry by explaining the benefits of the IFPS and the certification programs and letting them see firsthand the success that I have enjoyed. So let's give Bud Haver a round of applause.
Thank you, Donna. We'll now move on to the 2021 inductees. Craig Fox. Please join me at the podium. Craig Fox served as one of the technical editors for the Lightning Reference Handbook. He worked for the Eaton Corporation as a senior technical trainer and contributed to Eaton's Industrial Hydraulics Manual. He is an active member of the Electronic Technology Curriculum Review Board for the College of Canyons in Santa Clarita, California. Craig, this is an honor. And if you'd like to say a few words, please. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, I do a lot of teaching, and I often have students ask me, how did you get into hydraulics? And I always have to tell them that my workout video wasn't selling. But fluid power has been a great experience. I cannot believe that I have produced 41 years of it, but it has been a good experience, and it has changed over the years. We've always thought of fluid power and hydraulics as being a very powerful tool. So if you had a Cadillac that you wanted to put in a 1-foot box, hydraulics is the way to do it. Okay? But the addition of electronics has made it not only powerful, but accurate. And the Fluid Power Society has found its home in training people to be better at what we do. And it has made the hydraulics industry professional. And they're to be thanked for what they've contributed to the industry. I'm so appreciative of the award. I wanted to thank the Fluid Power Society for considering me. So thank you very much.
The honor is ours. Thank you. Thank you, Craig. That was great. Does everybody have their mask on? Oh. The next recipient is quite a special fellow. And I think it would be best to address him as doctor, but I might be wrong. He's amongst friends. But I would like to introduce Mehta Khalil. If you'd please join us at the podium, that would be fantastic. He has won the 2012 Auto Maha Pioneer and Fluid Power Award and is his 16th year as the Director of Professional Education and Research Development for the Applied Technological Center of Milwaukee School of Engineering. He has contributed to the specifications and commissioning of training labs and centers for MSOE, Concordia University, Egyptian Iron and Steel Company, and the Giza, Egypt Civil Aviation Authority. He is also the author of 5 books. I'd like to welcome the doctor. Congratulations on this award, and we're honored.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. I'm not very good at I'm not very good at public speeches, so I'm going to be very brief. So I really delighted, pleased, and honored to receive such a great and unique award. It came after a long and dedicated and hard work. So in this very special moment, I would like to remember some people who were very supportive to my life journey. But before that, I would like to thank God for giving me all the health and the resources to achieve such an award. First of all, I would like to present this success to all best teachers in Egypt, where I get my basic education, in Canada, where I get my second PhD. And I would like also to present this success to whole community of Milwaukee School of Engineering, who offered me all unlimited resources to make that achievement happen. I would like to present this success also to the soul of my parents, who taught me the values of religion, believe in God, and values of good manners. I would like also to present this success to my sons, daughters-in-law, my sweetheart grandson, Adam, and promise them to continue to be proud of me. Lastly, I would like to share this success with my life partner, my wife, Naila Mohammed. Please raise your hand. She is the crown of my head, and she grows 4 wonderful sons with minimum contribution of me. 2 of them already graduated from Milwaukee School of Engineering, but unfortunately, I wasn't able to grab them to the hydraulic side because they have seen my sufferings. So I'm really honored and pleased again, and I thank you guys, thank you for everything, and thanks for IFPS to consider me. Last thing to say about fluid power: with great power, you should have great responsibility. So that's final words. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
It's an honor and congratulations. It's a very, very big pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Fantastic person. Thank you. Well, Jim Brizolara was unable to attend this evening. However, Barb DeCesar, I wanted to say Di Cesare, but apparently that was wrong.
That's a good way to say it, Rob. That's right.
She will be accepting this award on Jim's behalf. Jim is a co-founder of Hydroforce, placed a strong emphasis on community involvement, student training. Hydroforce supported the growth of students, suppliers, and employees through contributions exceeding $400,000 in grants, tuition support, training programs, also making donations to local schools. Hydroforce provided scholarships, full scholarships, for the Wheeling High School Robotics Lab. Fantastic work to help support the fluid power industry. Barb? Congratulations to Jim, and thank you for the hard work. So if you'd like to say a few words.
Sure. I don't have a whole lot that I want to, no, I don't have a whole lot that I want. Get it? No. I mean, that I want to say, I would like to share on Jim's behalf that quality has always been the most important part about fluid power that he's ever drilled down into every employee's head. It's always been about quality and about being a family. And but when I asked him today what he would like me to say for him, he said, give credit to all the people who have supported me over the years. And there's a lot of people here that have supported him over the years. And I think it's a real testament to him and his partner, Dick Ventecchio, that Lisa will be coming up here and telling more about. But he has provided a lot of opportunities for many people. And within the hydraulic industry, I did not think that when I graduated from college that I was going to begin hydraulics, and I've been in hydraulics for 30 years now. So there, it worked. Yes, you're right, it works. Okay, if you want to hear more, I'll tell you more later. But I don't know. I can't. Okay, thanks.
Thank you, Barb. Congratulations to Jim. That was very nice, Barbara. Thank you. We had a couple fellows that could not make it this evening that I was able to speak to on the phone. And anytime you can talk to these folks, it's just a real honor and fantastic experience. Peter Achten from the Netherlands was unable to make it. Tim Bailey from Australia, Noah Manring, and George Doig. And George, by the way, was one of 30 founders of the original Fluid Power Society and Chapter 1 in Detroit. They couldn't be here tonight. However, Donna will read you the notes that they sent in, and it's worth listening to. These guys, like the rest of our inductees, are just fantastic individuals and key to this industry. So Donna, if you'd like to take this.
Sure thing. So I don't think that we could induct a better group of individuals than the next few gentlemen that I'm going to read the notes for. The first is Peter Achten. Peter Achten says, "Dear Hall of Fame Selection Committee members and fellow inductees of the 2021 Hall of Fame, let me first offer you my apologies that I can't join you today at this celebration, but I hope that you will have a wonderful dinner and festivity. My sincere congratulations to all of you, and thank you. Peter Ogden, the Netherlands. So round of applause for Peter. The next inductee is Tim Bailey. Tim is from Australia. He is also a big supporter of the IFPS and our certification programs down under. So Tim says, to be honest, I'm speechless. And as Ian McDonough will tell you, that's very unusual for me. This is a great honor for me, and I'm very, very humbled to be elected to the Fluid Power Hall of Fame. But as I've said previously, the accolades should really go to the fine people who've worked with me in taking the Western Australia and the Australian Fluid Power Societies to the level that each as it is today. Without them, I would have been seen to achieve very little. So let's give a round of applause to Tim Bailey. The next individual is Noah Manring. Noah sends the note that says, fluid power has been my career focus for over 30 years, and I have enjoyed the opportunity to contribute to the area of axial piston pump technology most significantly. I wish I could be there today to receive this in person. The honor is deeply felt. Thank you very much for the recognition. Sincerely, Noah. So a round of applause for Noah Manring. So the next is George Doig. So George says, I'm very sorry I cannot be with you to accept this honor in person, but I am especially glad that it's not being awarded posthumously. That's a joke. I'm old enough to have known many of the legacy honorees of the Fluid Power Hall of Fame, like George Otlin, Harry Vickers, John Pippinger, and Frank Macklin. What a group they are, right? When my daughter told me I was being honored, I thought, that's a big deal. And I believe it truly is. To me, it means my work made a difference not only to my customers, but to my profession. The award is displayed prominently and proudly in my apartment, and I am sincerely grateful to the committee for this honor. A round of applause for George Doig.
Anna, that was great. Thank you. And we are sad they couldn't be with us because fantastic group of individuals. So sadly, the next individuals to be inducted are going to be inducted posthumously. In lieu of a physical award, a donation will be made to the NFPA Education and Technology Foundation. A few close friends of these individuals are here tonight, and I'm going to call them to the podium to speak in their behalf. Our first posthumous inductee is Harley Berggren, and accepting on behalf of Harley is David Toon. Should leave that H out. Okay. Harley was a World War II Army Corps veteran who passed away in 2021, 3 days before his 104th birthday, if you can imagine that. Berggren founded Power Systems in Minnesota in 1966. He retired in 1982, but remained a company stockholder until the company was sold in 1998. He developed a unique lawnmower drive system before hydrostatics were invented. He used a cam, a valve, 2 gear pumps, and in 1967, he obtained the patent for hydrostatic transmissions. That's how key he was to our industry. So, David, if you would like to say a few words, and congratulations on his behalf.
I've known Harley since 1968. I was fortunate to be his first employee and a partner, and just a great person to be around. The Berggren family, Mary and I, want to thank the Society for honoring Harley. He would be so proud. He loved this industry, especially mobile hydraulics. Just a little bit of his career. He was in the Army Corps, the Army Air Corps in the 40s. In the Air Corps, he taught hydraulics and electronics. He always told me he couldn't teach electronics today because it was before the transistor. From there, he went to Gates Rubber Company from 1947 to 1958. He was the belt application engineer, specializing in combines. And one of the problems was the high torques that were required for the belt on variable pulleys. It was a very difficult application. He told me at first they broke the belts. Later on, they started on fire, and they finally figured out how to do it. And they worked quite well. But he said the replacement belt business was great. From 1958 to 1966, Harley became in charge of sales and marketing on the Orbit motor. This is when it was just starting out. And he set up distributors like Cross, Womack, Spencer, Roberts Engineered Products, Price Engineering. And when he was in his 50s, early 50s, he started, And one of the things he always told me about selling Charlin motors was nobody would believe that a motor that weighed 12 to 15 pounds could do the job of a big gearbox and a high-speed motor. He said it was really hard to convince customers that it could do the job. But as you probably know, the Charlin motor, Orbit motors today, and orbital steering is a $3 billion market. And since 1950, when Lynn Charlson invented it, the bell curve is still going up. I don't know of anything in this industry where the bell curve is still going up. In 1966, he started Power Systems. And what he was interested in was mobile hydraulics. That was all we were ever interested in. We were no good at industrial hydraulics. We wanted to sell stuff and sell it again and sell it again. He really liked to sell specials, special shafts on gearboxes, special shafts on motors, things hooked together, valve blocks. He loved all that kind of stuff. And it was just wonderful. Even at 100 years old, I used to bring him over circus, and he was just amazed what this industry had come to. Unfortunately, he passed away this spring at 103, and he was 3 days short of 104. We decided to give him a pass on 104. Just imagine, he collected Social Security for 39 years. And I always asked him, are you even yet? Are you even yet? He was the past president of Chapter 5 in the military in World War II, Rotarian, and lived independently till 103, played golf to 100, and did not use a walker. So I guess his best traits, I always said, he was a fabulous mentor, and he worked around the clock. I grew up on a dairy farm, so I didn't mind not working late, but many a night, excuse me, we were there till 7 o'clock at night, working on things or teaching me things. And after that, he'd say, hey, let's go get dinner. So we either went to Birch's in Hopkins or Reese's in St. Louis Park. And I always went along with him. And I said, I'm not old enough to be drinking scotch yet. He said, doesn't matter. I know the owner, so just go ahead. So he was kind and considerate. He was kind to everybody. I just could not believe. And he had a following, even though he wasn't a humorous man, because he was so technical, he had a following of people all over the state. And one of his generous things he did, he's got a lab named after him at the University of Minnesota. Couple things. He had a few sayings that always stuck with me, and it meant a lot. He always said, always keep the shine on the shoes of the people you deal with. I wasn't as good at that as he was, but he was very good at that. Make the last call of the day. You never know what's next to that smokestack. And he said, bad scotch is as good as good scotch. That's not quite true. I remember Mary and I gave him, every year at Christmas, we gave him a bottle of expensive scotch. And I went over there when they were watching the Twins game. And he grabs he gets this bottle of Old Scorby, which is kind of like skunk piss. And he gets this out. Why are we drinking this? You know, he's 100 years old. I said, what happened to all the good scotch we gave you? And I opened the cupboard. Every bottle we gave him was still down there. He says, well, I'm saving that for later in life. And he always said, another thing he always said was, look at applications in a different way than your competitors do. Figure out a way to make it better, how you can make it better and more unique. And I think that served us very well. We captured a lot of business over the year. So I guess that's all I had to say, except Harley was was like a father to me. He was one of the great people I had in my life. God bless you.
Thank you, David. That was fantastic, David. Thank you very much. Is Lisa here?
Yeah, she's back there.
Is she hiding? Our next posthumous inductee, Richard Fontecchio, and accepting on behalf of Richard is Lisa Debonetto. Are these all Italian? Richard began his fluid power career in 1965 at Fluid Power Systems in Glenview, Illinois. In 1985, he co-founded Hydroforce with Jim Brizolar. With Fontecchio's leadership as Vice President of Sales and Marketing, Hydroforce released over 15,000 standard and proprietary valves and their electrohydraulic controls. The company grew into the world's largest supplier of hydraulic and electrohydraulic valves, manifolds, and controls. Quite a record. Lisa, would you like to say some words on his behalf?
I think so. Thanks for saving the best for last.
Of course.
See if I can get through this. Since Rocky announced all the business aspects of Richard or Dick Fontecchio, I think I want to share with you my first meeting of Dick. It was early in 1992. I had just moved back to Illinois from California. And I called my friend Mike Canestro and my mentor, who worked at Hydroforce. And I asked him, hey, are you guys hiring? And he says, as a matter of fact, we're looking for a tech services person. Let me get back to you. Well, that opportunity fell through. Fast forward 2.5 years to late 1994, I got a call from Mike asking me if I'm ready to come work at Hydroforce. He says, send me a resume that back then was done in Word. So I showed up for the interview. Mike meets me in the lobby. He sits me down and he says, I got to tell you this. You'll do great. I won't leave your side, but Dick doesn't know you're a girl. Well, unbeknownst to me back at Hydroforce in 1992, Mike had presented me as the first tech services person. And Richard said, no way, no way. This position is not ready for a woman. So fast forward to 1994, when a resume comes across Dick's desk of an employee of a guy that Mike knew I had hired and trained at a previous company, Dick said, I like this guy, let's get him in here. Mike proceeds to say, well, if you like this guy, I know the person who hired him and trained him, and I think they're available. So imagine the look on Dick's face when I walk into the meeting for the interview. I just remember he had this squeaky old leather chair that he leaned back. Hands go up and the evil eyes went right to Mike. So I thought I was doomed, but apparently I passed the interview since Dick hired me on the spot and I worked for him for 18 years. I definitely owe him a debt of gratitude for taking a risk on me, or maybe more so sneaky Mike back there. On a more serious side though, I know Dick was a man of integrity, who was a man who took risks, And I know during the years at Hydroforce, he was always the calm voice of reason. And I think those of you will attest to that. If he was here with us, he would be very grateful, and I think he'd feel very blessed. I think he would genuinely be humbled by this recognition. Dick's biggest contribution to the fluid power industry is not going to be his legacy at Hydroforce. I think it's going to be the positive ripple and impact that he's had on those who knew him. There are several folks here who traveled, to honor him and all the inductees. We have some of Dick's family here. We have his brother Dave and wife Elizabeth, and his sister Jane and her husband David sitting back there. We have Sneaky Mike Canestra and his wife Margaret back there. We have another ex-employee, Dan Larson, and his wife Christy, who also made the trip. Some former distributors, longtime partners of Hydroforce, Mike and Joni Blake. Thanks for coming. And even David Toon and Mary were longtime distributors for Hydroforce. So my fear here is that my 3 minutes isn't going to do Dick justice. So if you see any of these folks during this celebration tonight or tomorrow or the next couple of days, take some time to talk to them and let them tell you their stories and share their memories, so you too can know what kind of amazing impact he had on those who knew him. And let that be a lesson to all of us. What impact are we leaving on those around us? I don't know if Dick ever knew what a positive ripple he had on my life, but I certainly hope he does now. So on Richard and his family's behalf, thanks for this honor.
That was great. Thank you. That was fantastic. Can I shake your hand?
Yeah.
That was great.
All right.
Thank you, Lisa. That was another round of applause for everybody. So I'm pretty sure there's more folks out there in the industry that we will need to recognize in the future. The group we have tonight is just fantastic. It's an honor. Very pleased all of you folks could be here, and all of your friends and family. The lifelong contributions that these people have made for our industry is beyond reproach. It's just fantastic. Thank you again.